In this video, I'm going to show you how to paint Auric Evenhand from the Shattered Throne faction of Malediction. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Rob, the miniature painter. So I primed this guy with a Panzer Gray Vallejo primer and then a dark yellow primer zenithal, and then gave it a dry brush of Castle Gray. And you can see it gives a beautiful undercoating for, yes, a little bit of mixture of Fanatics paints and some speed paints. For the skin, I had a feeling that maybe the Peachy Flesh or the Crusader skin would have been a little too dark or a little, I don't know, it wasn't going to work perfectly on this guy. And he has very light skin, and I figured, you know what, let's go for some fair skin, which is a historical paint. If I'm not mistaken, it's from the German set. Now, I don't know where, I don't remember exactly which sets these historical paints come from, but it is from the historical paints. So if you haven't gotten those, there are some equivalents in, well, not equivalents, but close enough in the skin tones from the Fanatics. And if you're using Vallejo, or if you're using Two Thin Coats, or if you're using Citadel, I can't help you there with what color it might be, but this is what I'm using, and I'm sure you could figure it out. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit that like button, comment down below what you think of my videos, subscribe, and if you're not new, hit like anyways, because I'm sure you guys are returning because you like my videos and you want to see more of them. And we need that algorithm to pop these videos out there. So hit like a lot, comment a lot, and it makes YouTube say, hey, this video is cool. We're going to show this video to other people. So this is one of the Seekers. It's a dual faction Seeker. He gets to play either with the Legion of the Shattered Throne, or sorry, not the Legion, the Order of the Shattered Throne, or Primal Blood. So he can be mixed in there. He's got the dual faction. He's got some pretty cool abilities. I don't remember exactly what they are, but they're pretty neat. I'm going to have to make a deck around this guy and eventually play him with some Primal stuff once I get those minis printed and so on and so forth. So you can see I'm using a whole bunch of colors of skin here on his skin tones here to lighten it up a bit more. Bringing in some opal skin now. This is one of the War Paints Fanatics ones. Just getting some highlights done where the muscles would be more focused from the light. Alright, now we're going to be mostly doing, I think, if I'm not mistaken now, speed paints. Because, you know, I am a one-trick pony, as a lot of people probably think of me right now. Because I found this recipe of undercoating to work really well to give your figures a grimdark. In my opinion, it's grimdark. I don't know if you guys agree with it or not. Some people out there that are playing Warhammer and be like, that's not grimdark. I'll show you what grimdark is. Well, this is, in my opinion, grimdark. Meaning, grimdark to me is it's grimy, it's darker, it's not perfection, it's not super bright colors. It's highlights, though, that are bright, which I find this undercoating does the perfect job with. You can see this with the Fire Drake. It's supposed to be like an orangey red, but with this undercoating, it comes more like a leathery brown, which is awesome. And the same thing now you're going to see with this Sand Golem here that I'm using on his skirt here. It's going to give it another kind of brown hint, but with some yellowish orange tint to it. And where it's really highlighted, it's really gonna pop. Like where the dry brush hits more, you're gonna get a light more tone. Whenever it doesn't hit and wherever the shadows are, it's going to be a lot darker. And I just find that is what I think this is what zenithal should be, or what underpainting should be for speed paints. Yeah, there's the black, gray, and white, but I think that is not deep enough. I don't know, this to me has been really awesome. I was going to try some other colors with the dark gray and then a dark red and then like a light purple, maybe dry brush at some point. Maybe the Conclave of the Spheres people, because they're like magic people and they have a whole bunch of cool stuff. But I actually tried something with them so far. I haven't painted any for the channel, but I will paint the Seekers up. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to paint everything from Malediction. I thought maybe it would be a little bit more popular, but I don't think a lot of people know about this game. If you haven't checked it out, go check out Malediction website. Take a look at them. I mean, you get the boxes with the standees, and then you can come in and get them printed. You can get the terrain printed. I've printed it all out myself. I got the miniatures printed out for me. from resin because I don't have a resin printer, but the terrain is amazing with my FDM printer, and it is, you know, you can just play with the standees though if you don't want to spend much more money on getting stuff printed out or buying a printer or anything like that. You can have a lot of fun with these. Alright, so the next thing you do, speed paint. I'm using a speed paint metallic, which again I really appreciate. This is Horde Bronze. I'm using this on that big metal arm of his and his pauldron on his right arm there, or his wristband, or whatever you want to call it. And you can see that this is working really well with the recesses and so on and so forth. Like, I think, to me, this works better than black, gray, and white. You know, if you don't have these colors, I mean, you can do this with spray cans. I would suggest like a Mechanicus Standard Gray, which is one of the darkest grays I found in a can that I have access to anyways. I mean, there might be other ones, like Vallejo might have a darker one. And then maybe I don't know what color would be, a darkish yellow, not demonic yellow, maybe desert yellow. And then just come in with a dry brush of light gray, like really, really light gray, or a light beige even, like a tan or something. And you'll be able to get this effect too. If you don't have an airbrush and you can't do the effects we do, well, I mean, you can try it as much as you can. You know, you don't have to mimic exactly what I'm painting. I'm just here to teach you guys techniques of trying to get your speed paint. You can use this technique on any miniature, really. You don't have to use it just on Malediction there. Check out what it's going to do with his beard. Ashen Stone, okay? I was a little skeptical. I was like, okay, there's a little bit of beige underneath, but then the highlights really pop. The gray goes into the recesses really well. I even get the eyebrows done, and it really shows you how this underpainting does a great job. Dry brushing on top of a darker color is the way to go, I think, for the highlights to really make speed paint work. I mean, the zenithal is nice, but I think dry brushing is the best. I think having that final layer of highlighted white or light gray or a tan is really going to make your speed paints pop. And then you can actually come in with some Fanatics paints later on and just do some other touch-ups in that. As you can see now, I'm using ochre clay as the belts, as the leather, because I know leather brown would have been almost close to the sand golem one. And I want a little something different. So ochre clay is the one we're using for this here. As you can see though, I'm only doing the top part right now of this model. There is a whole base that has this lava and all that. We'll be coming to that soon. We'll be working on that. I just want to show you guys the top part of this model here. I was actually debating if the bottom part should be a members only, but I'm like, oh, I split a video in two and have to make people pay to see a certain video. I'm still trying to figure out what members should have access to as only videos for them. Anyways, yeah. I'm also looking for painters who are in my Discord who would like to have a conversation about miniature painting. So if you're interested in doing that and have a video going out about that, I think it would be interesting and fun to get different perspectives of different painters from around the world maybe. So yeah, let me know. Check out my Discord. That link is in the description. You can join there. That's completely free. People come and post stuff. They show me what they're working on, just like my Facebook. They'll comment on my stuff. You know, just it's always fun to have interactions with everybody. All right, so for all his tools, weapons, so on and so forth, I'm going with a Grim Black. This again works perfectly well with this undercoating here of zenithal and dry brushing. Does a really good job getting the highlights. You can see, and Grim Black has been one of my favorite speed paints, and this is still the 1.0 version I have. I haven't even opened the 2.0, and I've been using Grim Black a lot because, one, you don't need a ton on your brush. You do load up your brush, but you don't need a ton. You don't waste. I sometimes waste some paint because some of it squirts out a little too hard, and you end up wasting some, which happens, which kind of sucks. But you know what? I've had these speed paints for what? How many years have this been out now? And I haven't opened a new bottle yet. I'm still on all the original bottles, no matter how much I've used speed paint. I mean, I've used it on so many models. But Grim Black, I just find, does such an amazing job of a base coating to cover, especially for weapons. Hair, it does a nice gray tone to it. Boots, you know, stuff like that. I just love what it does. Alright, now that that skin has a long time to dry, come in with the warm skin shade just to cover it up and give it a little bit more realism to it. I don't put too much. I do water down my brush quite a bit, and I just mostly try to get it pushed into the recesses to give it more of a nice uniform look. Plus, it's also good on all those scars. It really makes the scars pop out of the skin, make it look like he's battle damaged, really making it look amazing. You know, the warm skin shade, this is a John Blanche Masterclass paint, and it's just amazing. Coming in with a little dry brush of true brass now on that arm, the feet. I forgot that the feet were doing the same thing, and on that handle, the hand, the brace, I guess you want to call it, just to make that pop a little bit more. And then we're going to use a little dry brush here as well of heavy metal. We're going to get this on the tools. This is also from the John Blanche set, so the Master Class. Just a nice little shine to the metal, not too much. Like it's very dark metal, right? Even though I think there's one that's called dark metal. Anyways, this is a heavy metal. And getting this on as many as the tools I can here. And then I come in now, again with the heavy metal, still with the heavy metal, but now getting all the clasps, all the little buttons, all the little chainmail stuff, all those little things. You know, getting a little bit more on the weapons, a little bit more details around the edges, that if I missed anything, just making sure I get it all. So now, like, it's a little bit longer here to go along all these little chains that he's got all around his dressing here. But we're gonna get it done, and we're gonna have a beautiful looking miniature in the end. Have you guys played Malediction? Have you checked it out? It is an amazing game. Boutique FDB has always in stock the base games, so you get the standees, you get the rules, you get the terrain and cardboard, you get all the tokens you need, you get the trackers you need, and at a good price too. And you can also talk to the owners and see if they'd be willing to print out stuff for you, or maybe even myself to print out some terrain. So if you're in the area and you see me playing Malediction, please come and talk to me, all right? And yeah, it'd be fun. I play there on Wednesday nights. Great place to be to play Malediction. Great game. Amazing miniatures, by the way. Loot Studios, you guys just brought it. Okay, Tomb King Tan now. It's just, he has a few little bones on him dangling here. So, and yeah, I also used it for like the wrap on like certain things, just like the cords and that, but it wasn't too many things, so it's mostly just the bones and that. You barely see them, but they're there, you know, and you don't want to miss those details. Using some aged hide now for this little baggie of something he has. I don't know what it is, but he's got that, you know, just to make a little bit more coloration. So the first time there, my my brush was still a little too wet. Then I came in here. Okay, so here I'm having some fun with a little sponge, a little makeup sponge here, the little eggy, the boob sponge, whatever you want to call it. Dabbing on some matte white because we're going to be working with flames here. It's going to get hot. But I'm not too proud of how it turned out anyways. I don't find it was bright enough. I'm continuing with the sponging here. I don't know if this was a good idea or not. Maybe I should have came with a fluo yellow to really make the yellow pop first. And then I come in with the burning ore, still sponging it away, you know, just trying to get little areas, not touching too much around. I didn't want to do no OSL either. I just wanted to make the flame look really cool on the hammer. So then there's some resplendent red next, just on the tippy tops of where it would be like the cooler parts, but for some reason it didn't do a good job. I don't know why. I think my little spongy thing kind of picked up a little too much, so I just came back again after with some inner light and just highlight a little bit more yellow again where the hottest places would be on it, and just fix that up a bit more, and so on and so forth. Again, if you guys are enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Comment down below what you think of my paint job. I think I'm self-proclaiming that this is probably the best freaking looking miniature on the internet right now, and you are in the best self-proclaimed again channel for speed paints, army painter, war paints, fanatic, air paints, all sorts of cool stuff, everything army painter. Yeah, all right, we are moving on to the base. We are almost done this video. We got a few more minutes to go, so just hang in there. Taking some Zealot yellow, running it all over. As you can see, there's a lot of white spots, so I used a white ink to just get into the spots, and I let it pretty much just like pool up and do stuff, work on its own magic, to get areas that are going to be the brightest yellow. And I think it does a pretty good job. It's a white ink, and then here I'm bringing in the bright red because I've used bright red on all the models so far for something of cloth. Because they're the same faction, I want them to have something that ties them all together. The bright red here, and I was pretty sure, to me it looks like there's some sort of cloth on top of this anvil here. Normally I'm assuming there wouldn't be, but to me it just felt like that rock wasn't completely natural. There was something on top of it covering it up. And using the bright red here ties it to the faction of the Order of the Shattered Throne, and being able to use them in the Primal Blood one as well. I found it just tied it into the original faction, because you can still use them just with the golden cards or the yellow cards. You can use them just in the Order of the Shattered Throne if you wanted to, but I think he's going to work better with some Primal Blood stuff, which I'm looking forward to getting my hands on, and also trying those factions out. I have tried the Conclave ones. They are pretty amazing. The starter deck is very OP in my opinion, but anyways. Alright, rough iron. Now what I did here is I actually put a lot of speed paint medium into the rough iron, so that it would become like a speed paint metallic, because there isn't a speed paint that is this kind of color, and it keeps the chain and the underpainting the way it was kind of being there. So it's kind of like, you know, it's been used, it's coming out of this lava. I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing on top of it later of an orange color, just to give a little hue of color to it. And to give those chains a little bit more worn look to them. But I found that adding the medium to this rough iron metallic makes it that it's more natural looking. It's not crazy bright. It becomes more like a non-metallic metal, in my opinion, more than a true metallic metal. And I'm also doing it on these like little spikes or little areas that are coming out of the stone anvil as well. I think these are supposed to be like that. I don't know. I just found it really cool. It looks really neat. I want to make sure that I capture all that as well. So I come back in with some molten lava. We're almost done here, folks. Again, thank you for standing around or watching or sitting or wherever you are right now in your office listening to me on your headphones while you're working. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying this. So yeah, we're using some molten lava now, just getting some of the other areas underneath that base here to make it really lava-y and, you know, volcano-y, like he's working on top of a furnace, like a real furnace, natural furnace, as you would say. Really cool model again. This base is amazing. This guy, it looks intimidating to see on the table. As you can see, he's just waiting there for his base in the back top corner there. You can see him standing there waiting, drying off, patiently waiting to be glued down. I didn't want to glue him to the base because I think it would have been harder to get a lot of the areas on him painted. I've learned that from painting Warhammer models, that if you you glue it all together, there are a lot of spots you can't reach. So if you're priming in black, it's great. You leave it black and it looks like shadows. You paint it in white, those white spots are going to show. So it wouldn't have been so bad with the color I have here. If I couldn't reach perfectly, I would have probably just put a darker speed paint or something. Probably the dark speed paints wouldn't have mattered, but I wouldn't have been able to get some of the details I wanted to, like the dry brushing of metallic and all that stuff on the weapons. It would have been hidden by the anvil, a little bit harder to get to. But as you can see now, I'm just slightly going up those metal chains that I did a while ago there, just slightly going up to give them a little bit of a hue, getting the under part of the rock, also giving it a little bit of an orange hue, just a little bit of OSL on this part here, just to make it pop a little bit more, not too much. Just slightly going up, even in the back there on the walls and all the stonework. And again, I left the stone as it is. I find it looks natural, it looks amazing. And here you go, you'll see the top part here quickly, and then you'll see the bottom part as well of this miniature. Look at that. That is just amazing. I don't know. I'm so proud of how this guy turned out. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you all in the next one. But don't forget to slay the gray, one miniature at a time.